are really having, the legislature passed a bill stating we need additional flood disclosures. I know more disclosures is all we need. I think eventually these will get built into the seller's disclosures, but as of today, and really as of the beginning of this month, every single one of your listings needs this filled out and attached to the contract. So if you have not done this, head to transaction desk or app files, pull the flood disclosure. We have it there as well. And we are, and
So
we're working to make
basically,
sure
every listing needs to disclose whether or not what?
we had a flood.
Okay.
And if you filed a claim, that's the additional, is not just has it been flooded, but have you filed claims? And if so, why did you file a claim? And it gives you a couple options to choose from. And so
Okay.
it's really helping with our
And that
insurance
needs
costs.
to be shared with the buyer.
And that will be shared with the buyer. Yep. And signed by your listing, by your owner.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So we got a 17. I called it August 17th, the Y2K of Realtor World, right?
Exactly.
We all thought
So you were
2000
just probably, how old were you when Y2? 15. You were 15 when Y2K.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you remember that. You know, I was 42. Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end.
Yeah.
But no question about it. You guys have done an awesome job navigating through the new rules. There's power in education. Thanks, our hats off to Stephen Merrill, who ran around our company for some 20, 25 different seminars and taught over a couple of thousand agents what the 3 forms were and how to get them signed and go through it. I just read some information that many of you are getting a stronger commission because of your upfront conversation regarding commissions with the buyer and with the seller. We're getting buyer to pay the differential in the commission if the seller's paying less than what the buyer's committed to, that the buyer will pay the difference and is paying you. So kudos to you. Congratulations on a stellar job and navigating through. I don't think we're through totally, but we're definitely beneficial and there. The other news is we settled. I mean, we were one of the 50, 60 brokers that were eliminated from the NAR settlement. If you had sold over $2 billion in annual sales, NAR didn't settle those brokerage, although you individually were covered by that. And so I think there's no question that now as a company, we're protected. And so we're moving on. We knew we'd get through it. It was a little painful, but we're proud to say that Christina and her team and us picked the right choice, made the decisions, and we've got that behind us now. So it looks like blue skies ahead a little bit with the current structure and feels very good on how you're handling it and what you're doing and how you're navigating through it. So we just wanted to compliment you and congratulate you. It's a great feat and what you've done and how you were able to navigate through so successfully.
And I will say this, we know it's not over. We know your sellers are still negotiating and your buyers are still negotiating, and we appreciate that. We are still sticking, we still want that, hold that line at a minimum of 2.5%. And so if you are having to go lower than that, you do need to speak to your district sales manager. And really, we want to ensure that you all stay in business as you continue to negotiate. We know sometimes, they're only willing to offer 2. Well, at the same time, we're getting buyers to pay the other 0.5%. And we're seeing buyers agents, I met with Dawn and Kelly in Hope Sound. I mean, she said, no matter what, she's now actually getting paid what she's worth. Right. And that's really what we want. That's really what we want. We don't want you to feel that you're taking less because now the seller's negotiating in the contract. We want to empower you to take the actual value that you're worth.
Yeah, and I think what we found is the commission's now just part of the conversation. Before it was a little hidden, and now it's upfront, and it's what it is. And if we can't sell our value, we're not going to be in business. And there's no question you're offering tremendous value, and we can cover that a little bit later on. But we wanted to get to the market and where we are.
Just a quick update: we did settle. Many of you may have seen or seen that, and so we're moving forward and excited to continue to have a good, strong year.
Yeah. So where are we in the market and the overall market? It's been a little bit confusing to most. If you go back to March of 22, when the interest rates started to rise, I thought it was going to be a little bit more temporary, and now we're into plus 2.5 years of higher interest rates. There's a lot of reasons behind that. We bottomed out in the market in 23. 24 was going to be better, but then the rates rose again after the new year and kind of stifled it a little bit more. But saying all that, as they've lowered the rates in September, and it looks like they're going to continue to lower it, albeit slower than they thought, it looks like we've landed well, and we're moving now forward with lowering interest rates, not to where you want, but they're definitely down from the 7.5%, even up to close to 8% at one time, and now in the mid to low 6s. And I think what you need to be doing, what I need to be doing, what we all need to be doing is saying, this is what the rates are. We can't expect them to drop dramatically from here, but we need to continue to buy and sell due to the vicissitudes of life, death, divorce, marriage, kids, schools. Life goes on, and you can't hold back and hope something's going to be differently. So where are we with interest rates? And Christina hates me to do this, and we debated if we should put this in, but this shows a little bit of where we've been just back in 18, when rates were about 5%, 4%. When COVID hit, they obviously went to a very low amount because they were scared about the market, and they lowered it, and the market and the economy. And then, as we talked about in the beginning of 22, they spiked, and they've been there. But everybody's predicting that rates will slide, and let me hear that. They're not going to dramatically change. They're going to slide down in time. Now, they've predicted it wrong because they've been saying that for a year or so, but all three major forecasts look like in 25 that they'll start softening and probably bottom out in the mid to high 5s, low to 6s, and that's what we can expect on interest rates.
And I think really the main point is, one, don't let the news tell your customers about interest rates. Be on the phone. We're going to talk about business planning, connecting, and really making sure that that's what you're doing this end of this year. But two, that find those people that have pain or pleasure, as Ninja teaches us, and let them know that the interest rate for them, as Mike mentioned, won't matter. Moves happen, kids happen, and death happens, and those are moves that have to happen no matter the interest rate.
Right. And so what will happen, and I think where Milton and Helene did slow us a little bit in the end of September and the beginning of October, the presidential election is on everybody's mind. That's another 3 weeks away, and we're probably not going to know the answer November 7th or November 8th, so it may get a little prolonged. But if rates drop, sellers are more motivated to sell because they're not giving up so much on their interest rate. And this is a slide showing that less than 6%, 35% of the sellers, this is homeowners, will now be open to listing their home and selling. I don't think it's going to go past 5 and 4 and 3, so those numbers are really not usable, but it will soften and it will open up some more listings that are being interest rate locked currently.
Ramona, you mentioned this only to hosts and panelists, so I'm calling out Ramona's chat in the chat. It's life will continue to happen. Let's focus on that and use the forward questions in Ninja system.
So what are the forward questions?
So you want to get into forward?
Okay, well, let me finish this out.
And then we'll get it.
So finish out. We'll go to Ninja in a minute. Thank you, Ramona. She's a star. So these are what's encouraging, and what's interesting is the total home sales peaked in 2021 at 6.9. You can see 20 at 6.4 and 19 at 6. And then as the rates dropped and COVID was here and the COVID effect was gone, properties bottomed out at 4.8, 4.7. This is total new homes and resales. It looks like they're predicting, again, a pop, about a 10% pop for next year on everybody. And this is the summary of that. So that's encouraging. If I'm looking at the number of home sales that are resale, we're really back to 08 and 09. which is just unprecedented. So I think it will.
Long at 5.2, and we just get, even with less units, where do we stand?
So what's encouraging is with the additions of some great producers, we picked up Stephen No, a $50 million producer in Martin County, and Jason Flannery, $100 million producers. And so we're talking today. We merged in a great company led by really great leaders, Ron and Alex Chica, right? It's Cika, but it's Chica.
Yes.
And running Coral Shores Realty 300. We're meeting with the top producer, $20-30 million today after this meeting. So we're increasing our market share.
Yep.
When others are fading, we're gaining strength and actually spreading our gap between number one and number two. We were currently at $6.8 billion of pendant, almost 17,000 deals. If we project out what we think will be for the rest of the year, will be about $8.5 billion. This will be our third best year. Obviously 21 was the best and 22, but we're beating the rest of them, the rest of the 98 years. And so you should feel pretty good, because it doesn't necessarily feel that way, but we're going to tell you a lot of people are doing very well, and we're going to show you that.
McCurdy is another one that joined us this year.
Joanne, and she's wonderful. Incredible
team. Yeah. So it actually is amazing with the market as it is and people saying it's tough and it's down. We have 46 of our associates are already ahead of their full 2023 volume.
These are $10 million plus producers, just to give you. So people that have done $10 million in business, they're ahead of last year, and there's 46 of them. And so just read Yuri in our Avatar office, over 10 million, Bill Carey and Boca, Patrick and Dan Raskin and Patrick Reagan, Agate. Sold Agata sold one of the highest priced in Jensen Beach at $15 million. Ryan Jackson in Jensen Beach, Jeff Cohen in Boca, Tim Weaver,
Judd.
As I say, he's New England Patriots.
No, he's a Miami Dolphins player that happened to win a game or two with the Patriots.
No, he won a world champion game.
It's
and he's got the ring.
We don't have to talk about it.
Andrew Sesta, Barbara Kessler, and it's Lori Davies. That's exactly right under there.
And all of these are really our number one people. We had over 30 actual Real Trend verified. You guys are
of the top 1,000 in the country. These were verified by the numbers and recognized as the top 1,000 in the country. So congratulations. We're very proud of you, and recognizing
it's incredible. And so we appreciate all, and then we know outside of that list, many of you are still beating last year and doing better, and there's still time. So it's going to be a record year for many of you. So we congratulate you for the hard work and pushing through everything. So we need to finish strong. Then she already put the forward questions in the chat for you, Mike. So really, what do I need to do at the end of this year? And what should we be doing?
Yeah, well, the forward questions, let's cover. So Ninja, we had a graduation, 2 installations.
Congrats.
Over 200 people came through again. I think we're up to 800 or so graduates within the Kai's family of companies. So thank you for your investment. Thank you for your time. The forward questions are family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Basically asking questions. I was in Croatia, but at a seminar for AI, as I told you, and it was great because the guy kept saying, ask it more questions, ask it more questions, go deeper. And I thought, that's what a good realtor does. He keeps or she keeps asking questions, because as Covey said, you can't be understood unless you understand. And so understanding their predicament, understanding who they are, what makes them tick, why they're doing what they're doing in the forward questions will make you be better salesperson, because you'll be able to offer them what they want. So talk about the 9.
Yeah, and so really there's the Ninja Perfect Week. And honestly, if you don't know what to do every day, you wake up and you pull up the Ninja Perfect Week and you practice it. And this is what it is. Every single day, we start with our gratitudes and our affirmations in the positive light, right? You don't turn on the news. You don't read your emails. You start with something positive, and then you write 2 personal notes.
But stay with that, because as the older I get, the more simpler the world is. I do think when I was a kid, my father, or the chairman, used to say, Mike, do you know any other question than why? But the situation is I was trying to understand, but realistically, your body doesn't know anything different. If you say it's going to be a great day this morning, I prayed to our good Lord. I said, I'm meeting with you. I'm getting to meet with my daughter. We're meeting with the top producer. May guide me, give me wisdom, give me strength, and let it be a blessed day. I mean, there's no question that what you think and how you prepare for the game that you're playing makes a big difference. And so I would sit and find words of affirmation, positive things that go into your head. There's so many negative things. I mean, with the presidential election, there's so much negativity. There would be positive today, and there's so much divisiveness. I think we can be the encouragement in a world that is looking for something of hope.
Yeah. It's true. And I think, and those 2 personal notes lead right into that.
Right.
Right. Mike and I write our personal birthday cards and anniversary cards every single month. And I've heard, nobody receives note cards anymore. No one receives cards in the mail. And so those 2 personal notes, it's about doing the actions every day and then focusing on your hot list and your warm list and making 10 live conversations a day. Right.
You got to make connections. I mean, everybody wants it to come to them. We want it to be retail. We want people to call us. We want everybody to know, but 95% of the people aren't going to call you for help. So you need to engage. And we talked about that in the summer tour, the CRV, make connections, build relationships, and offer value. And so I think if you're not making those connections regularly, daily, consistently, definedly, waking up when I get to talk to somebody today, and if you do that, you're going to have more business than you know what to do with, because light is going on and they're waiting for you to call.
Absolutely. And Ramona said it was the best decisions to take Ninja again. She's more intentional and looking for the pain and the pleasure and the conversations.
Ramona, you can come on this next one. I'll swap you out for Christina.
Perfect. Perfect. I really believe that's the and really somebody said to me who's taken it twice, why should I take it again? It's because if they're not living it, it's not going to work. Right. And so, and listening for the pain, were pregnant before they were, I mean, you have to know people are going to have that pain or pleasure coming up and that they need to go on your warm list. Hey, a kid is getting married, or you're going to be empty nesters. So what does that look like? And so if you didn't go to Ninja, that's okay. Yeah. Your managers are well equipped to walk you through it. And so that goes to our next slide, is what should we be doing now? Here's the Ninja business plan, and I will open it up. Hopefully this works this time. I think it should. It takes a little bit longer on this computer, and then I will put it in the chat. But here's our Ninja business plan. We have it ready and ready for you all to utilize, and it's important to start.
Let's stop. Why do you do a business plan? And maybe it's me, and again, I'm not at this meeting that I was in. It basically said, I'm in my 4th quarter. I didn't want to hear about that. And do I have everything ready? And what am I trying to accomplish? And I walked down and I just said to Christina, I have 10 grandchildren. I now know when they're going to college in 2032 to 2045. I know what it costs to do that. And I'm thinking, okay, what should I do? What is our responsibility? But my point being is, if you don't have a focus, if you don't have a written goal, if you don't know where you're going, if you're not motivated to go out and help people, you're not going to accomplish what you could accomplish. Our job and what our management job is to maximize your full potential. And so we want you to accomplish everything you can accomplish, to pay for college, to pay for your kids' education, to help them if you want, to live your retired life, whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me, but to be clearly defined. Christina said, I know, Dad, she answered me this morning, I know how much I have to put away for my daughter's college.
Started when she was born.
I gotta put, you ready for this? $25,000 a year.
12,
which is,
well,
no,
yeah, 25 if
yeah, if she's going to a private school, and going, which is, they say maybe $1 million by the
Yeah.
time she gets there. So whether it's not the
Yay.
motivation of money, but it's a motivation of trying to help your family and accomplish what you want to accomplish. And with that, that gives you drive, that gives you focus, that gives you intensity, that gives you energy, and thus the reason for the plan.
And there is a live session coming up. Barb Coswell actually reached out. The Ninja Planning will have a live session, and we'll be and sending that out to you if you would like to join it and join the live session there. We have our own business planning as well through it's in Kai's Connect. You can find it there. I also put this handout from the live session that's going to be happening this year. And like Martha says, what you focus on expands.
Yeah.
And so it's really important. But what another one is hosting open houses and managing our listings, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk a
So
little bit about that.
where are we in the market? We had the sizzle of COVID. You couldn't keep up. People were buying and selling. You were selling listings in a day. Now you're back to a real market. Listings are sitting on market longer. You can't own the listing. You have to sell the listing. So partly it's your job to educate, to communicate, to show list track that the property is getting shown outside of the showings, and that the market's looking at it. You've got to show photos and enhance it. There's other things going, but open houses is an area outside of your sphere, outside of your database, that you can. 1 out of 15 people that walk into an open house will buy. So if you get 15, 20 people, there's a buyer in there, and it's a good way. It's a pop-up retail store that you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to pay overhead, and you get to go meet the neighbors. What a better way to use the listing as a magnet to find the neighbors on the street, to find another listing, and then hopefully find more buyers to sell them something, if not that property.
And it's really going, I mean, we've been saying this, but back to basics. We need to be hosting those open houses. You need to be able to get out there on the street, but really what you do before and after the open house is so important,
Right.
like you said.
The open house, you're not there to sell the open house.
No.
You're there to make connections with the neighborhood and with those potential buyers coming in. And if you position it right, and it looks like you're working for the seller, so it accomplishes a lot, and it engages you into the community. It's kind of like on that golfing tournament with that potato shooter. It shoots you out of the gun into the green a lot easier than having to get there with some drivers. And if you're a golfer like me, you may never get to the green.
But and really, the Progressive Brokers Open, a reminder, reach out to the other ones in the neighborhood. It just helps drive traffic, helps get back out there. We haven't had to do these in a while, so it's good. And then here's a couple things if you do have listings. I just saw this morning we're getting, I'm now seeing, okay, your listing's expiring.
Yeah.
Or, hey,
So what's happening? So slow down. So what's happening? Yesterday, 2-3 years ago, no listings expired. They sold off the shelf. Now you're getting listings for 6 months and they're starting to expire. So that, and price is critical. Pricing isn't saving us anymore. Even through that 23 and 24, prices were rising a little bit and still saving us as units were down. Now, many of you know the condo market pricing may be going down due to the assessments. And so again, you're not the savior. You're the advisor consultant to the market. You're Tonto with Kemosabe. I mean, you put many of you probably don't even know who Tonto and Kemosabe are.
I don't.
And so the Lone Ranger, Tonto, yeah, it was oh my, sheesh. I mean, all you baby boomers, tell her who the Lone Ranger was. And
I think I heard you talk about Tonto another time.
Tonto basically was the Indian, kind of the seraphim, the person, the mantra that was showing the Lone Ranger, the cowboy, where to go. He would put his ear to the ground and know where the enemy was. And so you're now having to put your ear to the ground and really give the feedback back to your clients effectively. So it's saying if it doesn't get showings, we're going to have to make adjustments in price. And my dad said this, and this is so critical, the chairman, if they're not motivated, you may not be able to sell that property because they're going to want their price and they don't care what the market says and they're going to let it expire. Now, as they move to motivation, price becomes secondary because they got to move. And so the market's going to set the price, but you now need to be managing it more intentionally going through with it all. So we've given you some tools for listings that are a little bit slower in their sales.
And these aren't just the only tools. These are reminders. So first is we launched Listings Showcase by Zillow. And we know Zillow can, be whatever it means to most people, but it is a tool and it's been a great tool. So Zillow has promised that less than 10% of
right now it's
properties.
1% and 2% of the properties in South Florida have this feature. And so for $300-400, depending on how many you buy, you can showcase your listing. It's an enhanced listing presentation. It keeps your name. It's not a lead gen. We hope that you get some leads from it where you're not getting any leads from it now, but it really is a listing tool to extend your listing, to maybe get a listing that you couldn't get. It's a one-time fee, and it basically enhances your listing and puts it up more showings, more advertisement, and a better enhanced process.
Your customers know what Zillow is, and so it's a tool to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we are exclusive, and then have this exclusively for us, and I can get your property exclusively showcased.
And there's more information.
And so in this, if you are interested in the information, you can email showcase, thank you, Wendy, showcase@kais.com. There can support you with purchasing tokens. Do not go to Zillow and purchase them. We haven't, Mike and
So we've
Wendy
signed
did.
a contract for all our family of companies. Over 100 of our associates have already bought the tokens. We've signed up for 600. We have it through December of 2025.
Yeah.
So it's a 15-month run that you can use whenever you want and for whatever listings you want. So just become familiar with it.
And in that, we have, I know VHT is listed here. We do have a partner for the listing showcase because they do require certain photography. And so that's the new company that we've been working with is Vista B. Then you can find them in our Kai's Connect in your company cloud. It's called Vista B, and they will work with Zillow. Unfortunately, VHT doesn't for some other reasons, but Vista B is your solution for all of your photography and videography for Listing Showcase by Zillow. So in saying that, if you need to relaunch one of your listings, AdWorks is currently having a 20% off all campaigns through October 31st. So if you want to get that out and really just re-promote your listing or re-promote your website or re-promote you, a good time to get into the
And then we
marketplace.
resurrected the VHT in Matterport. In 2018, we signed a contract. We're the only company that has a company-wide contract that you have your own portal and you have your own resource for Matterport, and it's a 3D tour. Again, all of these, what we used to say are listing benefits for you to secure the listings and make the seller happy. So there's no question. There's some great resources here. Real Reports, Wendy. We're on a Modern Ventures investment that we've made into technology, and she's been working with Real Reports, which is literally a build fax on steroids and for the home.
Speaking of AI, it has an AI partner that your customers can interact with. His name is Aiden, or her name is Aiden. I don't know if that's a boy. It's their name. Their name is Aiden. And absolutely, you can create a real report for your listing, post the link or the QR code. Your consumers can interact with Aiden and ask anything they want about your listing, which is really cool. And just another way to get clicks on. You can have the QR code there.
Is that cost? Is it free? So
that is free. But additionally, if we're looking at business planning, I know this is listings, but for business planning, for $20 a month, Real Reports has neighborhood reports that you can get and you can do on your different farm areas. Unlimited neighborhood reports for your farm areas, and that's for $20 a
So
month.
in summary, you need to step up your listing game. I know we've done that on the buy side, but through Showcase Zillow, through AdWorks, through photography, through Real Reports, if you don't have those in your pocket and you're pulling them out for the seller, you may miss the opportunity.
And last but not least, Sir put in here, and I wanted to say this. He says he thinks Showcase is great. They already have 4 listings up on it. I know many of our top
And
listings.
Serp is a young man that has more kids than I have, and he moved to an area called
Ave Maria,
which is west of Fort Lauderdale or east of Naples, and he's killing it there in that marketplace. So congratulations, sir.
So luxury has been a hot topic because pretty much our luxury market feels like the market in some areas, right? With so much of our market.
So $1 million plus. We sold, I think many of you know, $1,320 million plus homes trailing 12 months for over $3 billion. So congratulations to you. I think people are starting to leverage the Forbes name and luxury portfolio. Obviously, both of those. You've got a seminar coming up and you've got other things happening, but go ahead.
So let's start with one that everyone always knows about, the huge opportunity. Everyone is now asking, how do we get more information on luxury? So I'm going to kind of start from the bottom here and go up, and then we'll talk a little bit about Forbes. But first, a huge excitement and a thank you to Stephen Merrill, who has put and really the luxury task force. So Rita, Carlos, there were several others on the task force. I'm forgetting our regional managers, Jim, and who really put together some great content. Stephen, you can tell me who was on that team there, but we have 2 different great experiences coming up for you. One is going to be a 2-day luxury certification program. We're going to have one in each region.
Wow. In
Dade, Broward, and
Jeez, it's like we do it your way. We come to you like Burger King. You know that story. So we're bringing it to you so you don't have to travel far. And it really is a big commitment by Stephen, but 2 days. At the end of it, you're going to know everything about luxury portfolio, about Forbes, about all the tools, how to leverage it. I would encourage you to go. What's the fee?
Stephen will put it in. I'm not sure we finalized the fee because we're finalizing location. So we're excited. Depending on location, we're going to have a special guest speaker at these as well. But our goal is to have them, almost all of them, done by the end of this year. So Stephen's got a lot on his plate. And then for really. So
when are they starting? October 28th? You said I saw one of them. So Monday, October 28th, or the virtual.
So we're going to do a virtual event. So now for anybody who just wants, I got a listing or I'm getting a listing, now what? What are my tools? What are my resources? How do I use Forbes? How do I use luxury portfolio? What does that mean? Where do I go? They on Monday, October 28th, a week from today at this time, you can join us here, register. Someone is going to put in the registration link for that, I believe. Join us. We are going to build your $1 million business program. It's going to review all the tools we have through luxury portfolio, all the tools we have through Forbes, how to advertise through those, what are your options if you're going on them. And Kai's marketing team, along with Stephen, have created a checklist of like, what's free? What do I pay for? What should my budget be? All the questions you're asking. So that is for just a 1 day, 1 hour, and then we'll probably continue to promote that.
And we're just closing on a $30 million deal this month, at the end of this month. So there's lots, 10 million, $15 million. Right now, Billy Nash is negotiating a $13 million deal with our sister company. He actually just listed the Gucci mansion in Italy. And in Puglia, another mansion for $19 million and another property in Australia for 16. So he's figured it out. He's brought in the Forbes president, Michael Jalbert, met with the local Forbes brokers and is showing them how to list properties exclusively in this genre of big names and big brands. So the world is your oyster, let alone the local marketplace. It is quite amazing to say if you have a $2 million plus listing, your listing will be seen by the 150 million paid subscribers on Forbes.com, and it's exclusive to you.
It's pretty amazing. Congratulations to Billy, who truly believes he can sell real estate anywhere. And we agree. We are local, we are global, and Forbes and Luxury Portfolio really give you the tools to say that, to be out there and really to sell real estate all over the world, utilizing those tools, but really to partner. I mean, Billy is not doing it himself.
Right.
He is partnering with the Forbes team in those countries. He's partnering with the Luxury Portfolio companies. And that's the point, is we don't have to go outside our footprint to sell it. We can partner with the best of the best.
We know everybody in the country, I mean, in the world, thanks to Christina's efforts and leadership, thanks to our run on leading real estate companies in the world with Denise Talboy, who led the pace and put us on the map. There's not a broker in the country that we can't get to, and in the world, to be able to access for you. So connections are important and relationships matter, and you've got them all.
Yeah, and someone asked, can we use Forbes outside of our footprint? We cannot. It is really about partnering with the Forbes company, sending that referral, finding the Forbes or Luxury Portfolio partner there, and partnering with them. We're only exclusive here in South Florida with Forbes and Luxury Portfolio. So it's about finding the best of the best, and that's what we got.
So look forward to the Kai's Elevated Experience.
Stephen's going to be resending an email today. We put it in the chat. Look for the Kai's Elevated Experience. We have some other really cool things coming up. And last but not least, I'm headed to Hawaii in December for the Forbes Global Conference.
So let me give you Forbes real quick here.
This one as well.
And the Luxury Portfolio 24, 25, 26 in Vegas. Denise leads the way. If you want, there's a group of luxury brokers that meet. If you want to play that game, you may need to make the investment. But let me give you Forbes. Forbes is a 4-year-old network that's just starting to get its legs and really bring some real value. The power. I was with a big developer last week. If I told you the name of the developer, you'd be impressed. He's out of New York. He's building 3 luxury brokerage, luxury condos in South Florida right now. And on the call, we had the New York Forbes broker and us. And he said to the developer that's famous, he says, do you know the Forbes brand and what do you think of having access? He goes, quote, everybody knows the Forbes brand, and everybody wants to be on the Forbes 400 as one of the most richest men in the world or women in the world. So it was interesting to see a luxury condo developer selling billions of dollars, respecting the Forbes name and taking our call and having that conversation. So go out and be strong and lead with it, because there's no question it's a great entry level into conversations with anything over $2 million.
Absolutely. So any questions? Last but not least, Luxury Portfolio already has their Limitless Luxury Summit coming up. That's the leading RE conference every single year. It's February 20, right after the DCC, which we'll talk about over in Vegas, February 24th through 26th, and to win a really great time to network with other realtors across the country, where you can find those luxury people that you do partner with when wanting to list outside the footprint. You can find that partner.
Yeah. So what else? We talked about, we started with Kai's Cares. We're going to end with our values. We've got some great announcements. Christina's really looking ahead to our 100th. February of 1926 was the founding of the Kai's Company in Miami, Biscayne Boulevard. What a great track record and history we have. We're the only firm literally that's still here and that exists, and we're competing against the nationals and the globals because we're local and we have the global connections. And one of the ways was through our community of cares.
This is absolutely incredible. Jim Kervin deserves a standing ovation Oh, there you go, Mike, who pulled through, raised 17,000. I don't think we've even come close to that number. But he said he's not satisfied. He's raising more next year. He's already in planning mode for somewhere in West Palm Beach. A huge shout out, a team
Yeah.
out of Weston won.
Wow.
Yeah, so Broward took home the trophy.
Jeez, would you bring some ringers in there?
Yeah,
Weston?
so
Was that all agents or
so
no?
it was the Weston team, I believe, were agent teams. Jim and his team got second
Oh, wow.
this year, but a lot, I mean,
Uh-oh, big
incredible.
challenge.
It was up in Abacoa Country Club. We had over 25 teams supporting, so many managers, some really great top producers, customers. A lot of you all brought customers, which was a really cool thing. It was a great way to connect, a really great night, and Jim is really looking to
This
step it
was
up
right
again.
after Milton came through, and we
Yeah.
didn't think we were gonna do it, but you pulled through
They
and pushed
pulled
through.
and the
and you
weather
didn't
stuck
quit.
out
Yeah.
and absolutely amazing. So thank you to Jim and the marketing team and our entire team who really backed us up. Gabby, Eileen, and the volunteers there that day.
A lot
All
of
of
good work.
Platinum Properties really showed up. I think Jim threatened you, but it was absolutely.
Well, you're getting a
amazing.
sense we're more than real estate. We really are a company that's really partnering with you individually that cares about our community. And we believe a stronger community makes a stronger economy. And what you do on a daily basis to each and every one of your clients, and you're in there fighting and you're negotiating and you're taking the hits, and they're getting mad and they're getting frustrated, and you're trying to handle all the issues and problems and struggles. Our hat's off to you, because we know it's not an easy business and you can't cookie cutter this. So we're with the best.
So really, and in speaking of that, Dolphins Cancer Challenge, I think they're back to Cancer Challenge this
Yes,
year.
we changed the name again.